Welcome to my pop up series. I'm Peg Fitzpatrick, the author of the Small Business Social Media, a Blueprint for Marketing Success, which is out now. And I am thrilled to introduce you to Kristina Bartold, who is a friend that I met doing my podcast tour. She is a Canadian girl. So shout out to all you Canadian girls because I also love meeting Canadians because Canadians are so nice, right? So let me introduce you to her. She is the co-founder of Social Snippet and the host of Community with Kristina Bartold podcast, and she is a community expert. So I'm super
Mm,
excited. I will say I think community is the biggest thing for 2025. Spoiler alert to all of you watching. If
love
you're
it.
just tuning in, stay around because you definitely want to learn this. So Christina is the grand finale for my pop up social media success series. She's a powerhouse when it comes to building vibrant online communities that drive meaningful engagement and long term growth. Through her work at the Social Snippet, Christina helps entrepreneurs and small businesses harness the power of digital communities to increase impact, attract ideal clients, and boost sales, which are all things we need, all while creating authentic connections, which is the thing now, you guys. So
Yeah.
she is passionate about showing businesses how community can be the key to sustained success. Welcome, Christina.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored to be here. My cheeks already hurt from smiling, like from talking to you for 5 minutes. So excited to be here.
You guys are lucky we're here because we could have just talked for the whole time offline.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely could have.
Yeah, for sure. So we should definitely just talk every now and then just to
Fun.
I was telling Christina before we went live, like I've met so many people on my podcast tour that are podcast hosts who are now my friends who and it's so great to meet people, new people that like believe what you believe and are just doing great things. There's so many people doing great things in social media in all different
Totally.
areas.
Yes, and that's actually the power of community, like, really, when you
Yeah.
think about it, like, how many people, Peg, you got in contact with to be on podcasts and, to really promote your book, and how many people have been like, "Oh, I have an intro for you. I have someone I wanna connect you with," like, I've been on a train of your intros, right? And so it's amazing to see, just how much everybody wants other people to be successful, and so, yeah, definitely living in that energy and honored to be here.
I think especially the podcasters are really close like that, really good
Yeah.
with collaborations. And back in the day, that's how we were as bloggers too. We would share each other's stuff, and I have to say, I still love blogging. Do you like blogging?
I do, we do blog. I would say,
Yeah,
like, it's not my, like, community building method,
yeah,
but I see why it had so much traction.
yep. I still get good Google traffic from my blog,
Yeah, I love it.
like still organic Google traffic. Hmm. It's
That's
good.
the stuff.
And that's why being around for a long time is helpful,
Yeah.
because Google still is like, "Hey, we remember her. She's been around."
Internet grandma.
Right, yes. I did say that. I only said that to you, Christina. That was
Sorry,
kind
sorry, I
I'm just
outed ya.
kidding. Just so you guys know what we're talking about, I was just joking because 'cause I'm like an OG around the social media. I have been around for a long time. So we were talking about people who are newer, and I was like, I'm like the OG. I did say grandma. I feel like I still got it though, so.
Yeah, you do. You can still be grandmas are still hip. Grandmas can still be hip.
Okay. I will go with that. So we're gonna dive in here, and we're gonna ask Christina some questions so you guys can learn all about community, which, as I mentioned, and it's not hot air. Community is the thing for 2025 moving forward. So if you're wondering, oh no, what do I need to do? This is it.
Mhm.
Build community. So listen up, take notes, and Christina's going to share some smarts with you guys. So, why do you think building an online community is so important for small businesses and entrepreneurs today?
Yeah. So, why I think building an online community is so important is because we are living in a society that really cares about vanity metrics, right? We
Hmm.
care a lot about those big numbers next to our names. We're always trying to, look bigger, cooler, greater than we are, right? And when we really drill down into what sells when it comes to business, it's those super fans. It's those
Hmm.
people who are so excited, who are singing your name in every room, who are the people who are referring you to their friends. And that's why building a community and really nourishing and nurturing a community is so important because
Hmm.
those are the people who are often the people who are not only going to buy from you, but are the people who are going to present new opportunities to you. And, I've been noticing more and more, Peg, I don't know if you feel this way, but there's a lot of businesses I look at and I'm like, oh, that person or that business is so successful. And they were opened a door because of their community or because
Right.
of a relationship they have or something like that that another
Mhm.
person may not have been open to, right? Like when you see people collaborate with celebrities. Or
Mhm.
I was watching an episode of Dragon's Den, which is our Shark Tank, and the person was like, one of the dragons was like, "How are you going to get this product out? Do you know a celebrity who will do things for you for free?" And the person was like,
Wow.
"No." And right? And that was impactful, right? That it's
Yeah.
like we need community to help us sustain. And we've
Yeah.
seen people in our own social media world where they'll have 60,000 followers, but they can't sell a $15 product. And it's because
Right.
there's no community around what they're doing. So building that is key.
It's true. I am so blessed. I have met two of the sharks from Shark Tank. One
Oh,
one of them, John, David John, did a blurb for my book because
amazing.
he's amazing. I met him at South by Southwest with Guy, and Barbara Corcoran and I did a speaking event together in New York City for TJ Maxx, and she is one of the nicest, best celebrities I have ever met in my life. She's so
Mm,
gracious, smart as a freaking whip, as you would expect. I mean, she
yeah.
is like, she's so amazing. We did this big thing, and they were doing this big, huge photo thing, and the speakers were me, just little me, Barbara Corcoran, and Layla Ali. So like,
Wow.
Layla's like 6'5" with heels. She's so tall. And Barbara like grabbed me. She's like, "You need to be in the center of this photo." And she pulled me like, and I never would have done that myself because it was like an overwhelming amount of people and stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, she is just like the real deal.
But the
And
graciousness that you're talking about, Peg, right? Like that is a community building piece,
yes,
right? Like
yep,
where, we've all met probably like someone successful
yep.
where, they're not gracious. I went to Taylor Swift this past weekend and I was like so moved
I
by
want
how
to hate
moved
you
she
for
was.
that, but also,
Almost like as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Like, is that
yeah,
gonna
damn it.
cause kind of,
I am a huge 50, and I did not get to go see it live ever anywhere in the
I'm
world.
so sorry. I'm
It was
so
better than
sorry.
you thought, even though, wasn't it?
It was so good. And I
Yeah.
had crappy, crappy seats, but I,
There
I
are
will
no
just say,
crappy seats. You were live.
but what was amazing about it was just that people are there and like they are so in the energy of it, which is so
Yeah.
beautiful. But you can tell when she goes on stage, she's like, "Thank you so much for being here." She's
Mhm.
not up there being like, "Yeah, you're right. 50,000 people are here for me." Like she's like, "Thank you so much for this sold out event."
Yep.
That sticks.
She is a very gracious person, and she's built one of the best online communities.
100%.
She does so many secret things that people don't know about. Like when Tumblr was huge, and I don't know if she still goes on there, but she used to go on Tumblr and like find fans and go deliver Christmas presents to them. She would personally buy them, wrap them, and then go surprise and show up at their house. And she didn't do these things so people knew about it. She just celebrated her fans
I love
in
it.
so many different ways.
Yeah.
She is the best at marketing, but also the best at community, like really nurturing and honoring her fans. She's so great. We're at like question two
So
hours later. But anyway, Taylor
go, go,
Swift.
go.
No, we don't have to. No, I hope you guys all like Taylor Swift. But if you don't, she is out of the off the charts
Yeah. And we can learn a
community
lot.
builder.
We can learn a lot from like the customer service aspect of that, right? Which is
Hmm.
that, when we make our customers feel like $100 or we make other people feel like $100, that level of like gratitude, it permeates with people
Yep.
where people are like, wow, Taylor's so great, right? Wow.
Hmm.
Like I've seen this with local businesses, right? Where they
Yeah.
do something big in the community. You might not even ever think to buy from them, but you see them do something big and you're like, wow, I want to be part of that
I should
too.
give them my money. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, you should definitely be looking for those people in your community because those
Yep.
people are the people that we need to support so much, especially right now when we're getting to Black Friday and shopping craziness, which is so funny because people around the world, global companies are like pushing Black Friday. I'm like, you don't even have Thanksgiving. This
Yeah.
is not a day for you
Me.
people. Yeah, Americans, this is an American, I mean, it's truly an American hot mess.
Well, Peg,
That's what
just
Black Friday is, a hot mess.
just on the note of Canadians really fast, and we can get to the next question, is that we are so we like follow American culture so much that like obviously we've taken Black Friday on us ourselves.
Yep.
But there's
So
so many
Australians I saw posting about it too, so it's not just you guys.
but a bunch of Canadians got the date wrong and they sent them out last Friday. So like all these Canadians were like, Happy Black Friday. And we're like, it's next week. It's
It's Gray
next
Friday.
week.
Stop. Next week's Black Friday. I know it's crazy. It did turn into a mess. But I have to say, I was not joking about the Canadian. I love Canadians, and I
Yeah.
have found so many authors that I like that are Canadian, and I love reading about when they're set in Canada, like Carly Fortune. You probably know Carly, right?
No.
You haven't read Carly Fortune?
No.
Oh, look her up. I'm going to send you links to her books. She's
Please.
amazing. Her books have been like, I think she's on her third or fourth book now. She's so great. But I love the ones that are set in Canada because, come on, everything is in America, people. Like, books don't have to all be our culture, you know? And
The
I like learn like there's the ones that I really love, like they go to Tim Hortons. They're like
Stop.
set in Toronto, but also a little lake village, you know, where they go. You gotta get the, you gotta get the vibe right. They have
The
poutine.
the only Canadian book I can think of is Anne of Green Gables, so I need these links.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I'm gonna have to send you. Amy
please
Lee
do.
is another one. Amy Lee is another. I
Send them.
found a couple in the romance. I don't know if you like romance books, like rom
I
com kind of
I've ne
deals.
I probably haven't read a non-business book in 5 years, so, like,
You
send
got
me
to do it,
everything.
girl. Hop
Yeah.
out. You've read enough, except for you can read my book, but then no,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just kidding.
will.
You don't even need to
I've
read
been
my
sending
book.
it to people. I've been sending it to people. I did
Oh,
a
I
giveaway on my
appreciate that.
podcast.
You did a
People
great giveaway. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Okay, so anyway, I'll send you some Canadian authors,
Can't
especially
wait.
Carly Fortune. She's so great. You'll just love it. You need to like brain to get away from the business a little bit. That's what
Amen.
I started doing. I started alternating between business and pleasure, and it does help your creativity more.
Yeah. I love it. Done.
So, what do you think are the back to questions? What do you think are the key ingredients to a thriving, engaged online community?
Yeah, so I would say one of the key ingredients is that it's a two-way street. And it's
Hmm.
that, you're engaging with your people as much as the people are engaging with you, and that you're managing your community. You're showing up for them, you're sharing with them, and you're being a storyteller. The
Yeah.
best communities that I see are the ones where the leadership, or, whether that's like a brand or whatever, they take it so seriously, and they're really showing up, and they're telling the brand story. They're talking about the impact that they make, and they're showing the behind the scenes. And when it's a two-way street, there is a relationship that's created, right? And even if
Hmm.
it's probably stronger on one side than it is on the other, you don't know
Yeah.
your fans, they are still excited about what you're doing, and excited about what's going on. So I would say that's the big thing to a thriving community, is really that focus on the relationship and making
Hmm.
sure that it is that two-way street.
Yeah. Can you share an example of a brand or business that has an incredible online community, and what can we learn from them?
You know what's so funny is when I prepped for this question, Taylor Swift was actually who I chose, but I'm gonna deviate. I'm gonna
Then we
deviate a bit.
spoiled it.
But Duolingo. It
Yes.
Such a good example of
Yep.
actually, like, being so creative with your brand,
Mhm.
and actually, like, so many people are, like, trying to free this owl, and, like, this girl's dressing up in this owl going everywhere, like, it's genius, but,
Mhm.
does it inspire people to use the app? Yeah. Does it
It
get
does.
people knowing what's going on? Yeah. And so I think that was such a good lesson, I think, too, of, like, how do you infuse a personal story into a brand? How do you
Right.
create character? How do you create excitement around a brand?
I think that's great. Another brand, oh gosh, I just thought, oh, Poopery is another brand that I
Mhm.
love. I actually worked for them. Spoiler alert, I did consulting with them, but their online brand is amazing and so funny and so hysterical. Their creative director, Nicole, she's so smart and she's so funny. And when I worked with them, it was hysterical. Just like looking up, it's all potty humor and it's funny. Like, and
Yeah,
my husband kept going, "What are you doing? What are you laughing in your office?" I'm like, "I'm reading their stuff. It's so funny. Like, they're so funny." And you think, well, people aren't really going to talk about that stuff, but their community shares their stories, and they're that brand, right? Do you know
oh, yeah.
Poopery? Yeah, yeah,
I think that's such a funny, like, concept as well when we talk about community, is that, like,
yeah,
you're like, no one wants to talk about, like, poop. No one wants to talk about these things. But there is literally something for everyone. And
yeah.
there's people who find that kind of humor really funny. There's people who won't resonate with that. That won't be a fit for them.
Right.
But I think it's really about finding that message that resonates with your audience,
Hmm.
and then really leaning into that.
Yeah, but it goes even down to like when you dig right in. I should run in my bathroom and pull one out and read it to you. But their product, everything on their product labels explains how to use it because they're a different
Mm,
kind of product. Because you spray it before you go. It's not air freshener for after you go. And everything that they do explains how it's the spray before you go. Like it
yeah,
explains it, but in really smart, creative ways. Like it's just everything they do is so great. The design, the packaging, and it's a great product to top it off because you can have great marketing and then not have a great product and it's only going to work for one purchase, right?
totally.
No one's going to buy it again. So they're another fun one. But Duolingo on TikTok is chef's kiss.
Such a good job.
Yeah. How can small business owners create a sense of belonging and connection in their communities even if they have limited resources?
Yeah. So I think really the way that small businesses can really champion that is by becoming the main character of their own business. And
Hmm.
it's really showing up.
A little applause for the main character energy. I love
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, becoming the main character of your own business is actually like what you need to do to be building that community up. One of the things I hear from a lot of our clients, my agency, we have over 85 clients, right? So
Mm.
I've heard lots of different excuses for why people don't want to show up. I've heard lots of different things. But one of the things that comes up over and over again is this idea of I'm boring. No one
Uh,
wants to hear from me. My business is
right,
boring.
right.
There is not a boring business out there. People
Mm-mm.
want to hear the story. People want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see you packing those orders. They want to see you telling the story. They want to see you out in the community. They want to see you at events. They want to see you and what you're up to.
Yeah,
You're probably the exception, not the norm, right? And so
yeah.
really going and showing that and showing how you show up is huge. So like embracing that main character energy is
Hmm.
really helpful for creating that sense of belonging because people feel connected to you. And I know this was something that we did really well, and like to give ourselves a little bit of kudos, like when we started our business, was really showing people the behind the scenes of growing a business. Like this was a side hustle that we grew into a main hustle, and now we have all these clients, and we have a team, we have an office, and like all this stuff. And people have been with us
Crazy.
since the beginning. And there have been times where I've gone on, discovery calls with people where they're like, "Hey, you've been on my vision board for 4 years. Like I've wanted to work with you
Aw,
guys since the beginning."
that's
That's
so
so
nice.
beautiful, and it shows that
That
not
shows a
all.
lot about your company that people are putting you on a vision board,
Oh,
right?
thank you. But it
It
also shows that we
does.
we don't always see the fruits of our labor right away. And
Right.
sometimes we feel like we're posting on social and we're posting on social, we're like, no one's buying it, like no one's seeing it, like people aren't
Hmm.
hiring me. But it's actually just like it takes the people many times to see something before they
Yeah,
make a
a lot.
purchase.
It used to be like people had to hear about a brand 8 times. I think
Oh,
it's
it's like,
more, it's so
yeah,
much more
the latest
now.
one I heard was 26.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over talking about it.
Yeah, because you had a heart attack, you were like 26 times. So you don't have to worry about repeating things because number one, people don't remember everything that you post
Yeah.
and they don't see everything that you post. Nobody scrolls through and reads everything from a brand. If you like it, you might go back and look at some stuff, but unfortunately, God, 26, that breaks my heart a little bit. I gotta go. I'm just kidding.
This is the end.
So, what are some common mistakes that businesses make when they're trying to build an online community, and how can they avoid them?
One of the biggest ones I say is pitching
Mm,
nonstop. So there has to be a balance between community building content, educational content, and then also sales content. And you're always selling, right? Like being top of mind for people. Like, for example, there's a Canadian company that I'm affiliated with called Knix. They're
mm,
a period underwear kind of situation.
yep,
And they do a lot of stuff.
I know
And
Nick's.
yeah, so great. And they
Hmm.
post a lot and not all of it sales content. But it
Hmm.
is always in the back of my mind when I see something where I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go get another pair. Oh yeah, like, when you see
Yep.
something. So it's just a reminder that even when you're not selling, you're selling. So you don't need everything to be like sales content and
Hmm.
constantly pitching. I think that's one of the
Hmm.
biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to build community is they try to sell too quickly. And for service-based businesses, we see this a lot with DM selling, like
Yeah.
getting in people's DMs. Hey girl, like, are you looking for this? Today somebody messaged me. They said, hello, I'm wondering, I heard you're a bookkeeper. I'm like, I'm not a bookkeeper. But thank you so much for thinking
Bye.
yeah, for I'm so good with math. But like, that could have been really avoided by just looking at my profile a little bit, right? And so,
Right. And
I
why did
think
they even bother? I had somebody who before my book was out sent me a LinkedIn message saying that I just read your book and it was amazing. And I knew they didn't have it because like they didn't. I'm like, "You read it?" And she was like, no, just be honest, people.
yes,
And look who you're connecting with. Don't send someone a direct message about something. And yeah, the people who you connect on LinkedIn and then they immediately send you a pitch. It's like,
yeah.
no.
And
No.
leading with that authenticity is so important, right? Like people buy
Mhm.
from people. We like to buy from people. At the core of biblical times, people were doing business with people they liked, right? People were
Yep.
trading bread and potatoes and all these things with each other because they liked each other. And so
Yeah.
we still like to do business with people we like.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, how do you show up the best way you can so that you can be the first person that someone thinks about?
Right. They
Um,
might not need X now, but they
yes.
might need it down the road, or they might know somebody who needs it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want someone to disconnect with you real quick, send them an instant sales DM or LinkedIn message because I disconnect with people. Sorry. If your first impression that you want to make is a bad pitch, then I know that we're not going to connect.
Not a good fit.
Bye. I really do disconnect. Do you
Good
or
for you.
no?
I don't typically like, you know what? I actually, I love to, like, engage with people sometimes when they do those pitches, so I love to just, like, ask questions,
Yeah.
but, no, I don't disconnect typically. I let them
I
engage with my content.
yeah, I did disconnect with a LinkedIn person.
Good for you.
For someone who's just starting, what is the first step to building a community online? If you're the next Taylor Swift, what are you gonna
Oh my
do?
god, if you're the next person, please connect with me. I'd love to invest in you. But um, yeah. So if I was getting started again and I was building community, excuse me, community, I would just really focus on one-on-one relationships and
Hmm.
really chatting with people and hearing about what they want and what they need. So really, just going into my community and asking people, like, what would be helpful to you right now? What content would you be more helpful? What would be most helpful? And
Hmm.
really focusing on adding value. So like over and over again, like how do you like over deliver, add value online, really show up for people? Because you want people to look at your stuff and be like, wow, she's doing all that for free. Imagine what it would be like if I paid her. And really just
I
showing that
totally
up.
agree with that. I saw someone recently post. It was one of the like Instagram influencers that likes to tell people how they're doing things right and wrong. And their thing was whoever said to tell people to provide value is wrong. And then went about, and I was like, I think you're wrong. And I didn't comment or anything, but people need that. People are
Yeah.
looking for that. They're looking for like that. They're trying to learn something or be entertained, depending on what kind of account you are. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I disagreed with that person, but I zipped it and kept moving. But I strongly feel that people are still looking for value and that you do need to provide that.
And we are, I don't know, maybe somebody is in listening to this and they are unique. I'm not. And in the sense that there are like so many social media managers and what you do, there's probably so many of what you do.
Yeah.
So you need your value proposition. You need to be a bit
Yeah.
different. And what that looks like often, like I can't say enough. And we tell all our clients, like, how do you add the most value and showcase the best way you can what you do and why you're different so that
Hmm.
people are excited about making a purchase from you?
Yeah. And remember you.
Mhm.
How can businesses balance promoting their products while fostering genuine relationships? Because you were talking about, you
Yeah.
are providing value, and you're definitely not pitching every time. I feel like they do have a hard time with that. But how do you just recommend, mixing the promotion in there?
Yeah, like, often people are looking for like some kind of ratio. For me, I don't have one like where I'm like
Yeah.
20% selling. I wish I did that works, but I would say, really just figuring out like the value and watching like success leaves clues, right? So you start to see how people respond to your stuff. So if you're
Yeah.
seeing that like, when you post this kind of stuff, it doesn't resonate, but then you're getting the most amount of sales when you post this kind of stuff, then
Hmm.
really repeating that. But I think when you're storytelling and you're really showing up and showing like who you are and what you're about, what you're doing, I would say this stuff becomes really easy and actually it becomes easier and you don't actually need to sell as much because that genuine authenticness is coming out
Hmm.
in the conversation. So I would say really just focusing on providing value and you can't go wrong.
Yeah. I do that with a brand that I manage, and I post a lot of product posts, a lot.
Yeah.
And then I try to balance that. Sometimes I'm just like, and then other things. And then someone commented last week, can you share more products on this one? I'm like, almost everything I do is products. And they're like, we need more. I'm like, wow, I can't do all products.
Yeah.
But it was just funny on that, like one of the posts where I didn't, they were like specifically like, tell us what products to use. And I was like, geez.
But that's a great example of like you're never going to please everybody and we see this with
Yeah.
social all the time where even I run events and I
But
see
also,
it with
it's
events.
like you can't provide too much value either.
Yeah.
Like that he was like, "Okay, this, but also tell me what products to use
Totally.
too."
Totally. Yeah. But like yeah, it's just really like watching for the trends.
Yeah. So how do you measure success of an online community? Is it about numbers, engagement, or something else?
Yeah, I would say it's engagement. Truthfully, like I would say, I've seen seriously. I'm not lying when I tell you this. I have seen clients with 50,000 followers who come to us to start working with us, like not be able to sell anything, and I've seen people who have 500 followers have six-figure launches. Right.
Hmm.
And so it's really about like how engaged your community is, and you'll see how engaged they are. Like, right.
Yeah.
When you're posting something, do people respond? I always use this example, but I have an okay Instagram following, maybe like 6,000. And had an emergency like 2 years ago. I had emergency gallbladder surgery, and I
Hmm.
posted on Instagram just kind of being like, "Hi, like in the hospital, like really fighting the Canadian healthcare system over here,
Oh
trying to get this
no.
gallbladder out." And I probably got maybe 300 DMs, maybe it was
Wow.
more.
Yeah.
Like I was responding to them years later. Like I'm still like going through
Oh,
them, but like
yeah.
people were so kind, but that was such a sign to me that like I
Mhm.
had really like connected with people. And people were reaching out to me being like, "Hey, like, try chamomile tea, like make sure
Oh,
you
sending
do
nice.
this," right? But that was a sign of an engaged community, right?
Yep.
Like I'm not selling anything to these people. These people might never buy anything from me. They might never make a
Right.
referral for me, but you
Right.
have a great community. And so I think really looking at like, when you're posting, are you getting good engagement? Are people
Yeah.
responding to you? Are you doing thought-provoking content that's asking questions, that's receiving answers?
Mhm.
All of those things make a big difference.
Yeah, and I think the communication is not always on the post. So you see things
Mm.
where like a lot of times people do respond personally. Even, now you can, instead of doing a comment, you can respond with a message on
Yeah.
Instagram. So you're directly talking to that. I think that Instagram actually values that personal connection, that personal conversation more. So you're not going to see all the conversations publicly, but they're happening, and Instagram does count them behind the scenes too.
Yeah. I would
So
love Instagram to come out with less features. That would make me so
I
happy, but,
know.
we live and we learn.
Yeah, they're trying to like play catch up on some things right now because Blue Sky made them.
Yeah.
Everybody hopped over to Blue Sky and they're like, wait, but Threads was doing well. And everybody's like, bye. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Um, so, what role does consistency play in community building, and how can businesses stay consistent without burning out?
Yeah, I would say big time. Like this is important because people start to depend on you. And
Hmm.
so even our agency does podcast management too. And, people will be like, well, like, is it bad if I'm having a consistent podcast? I'm like, truthfully, yes. Because
Yeah.
people start to want to hear from you. You
Yep.
become part of their Monday, you become part of their Thursday, whatever it is. And it's the same with social. We
Hmm.
all have had those favorite influencers that we love, we love hearing from, we love connecting with. And then, they go missing or not like in life. I think they just like log offline. They're
Or
over it.
really missing. Let's be a
Yeah,
let's be a crime podcast. Come on.
I know. I can't with the crime podcast. I'm too weak. But what I would say is really just showing up in that consistent, and that looks different for other different people, right? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes what people can do is one post a week, then that's
Yeah.
fine. Like, if it's coming up in your stories, I recommend people posting like 3 to 4 times a week on the feed, and then showing up in a story every day, and
Hmm.
really just so you keep top of mind for people.
Yep. But you
Um,
don't have to do a million stories. Like,
no,
if you could do three really good ones, they're not selling, they're just kind of like behind the scenes. They're
yeah,
kind of like what's happening right now. Like, your feed is more of the plan, thought out things. And then stories are just like, hey, I'm doing this. Hey, like this, and I mix in things that are just things that I like that I see too with that. So, stories are actually easier than a feed post, but you still want to stay on brand and stuff. But
totally.
I think with communities, you have to be prepared to be consistent, and it's important.
Yeah, and I would say like there is like I've seen this in my own Instagram that like people will like I get a lot of engagement if I post less than 3 stories.
Hmm.
And the minute I go ham and I'm like, oh, I want to like post and like here I am on vacation and I'm doing the most, it doesn't get as much engagement. And
Right.
so it's like if I really am like I want to prioritize my community, sometimes less is more.
Yep, it definitely is. The days of all the teeny dots at the top are gone.
Gone,
Nobody
long.
wants to see that anybody. No one's interested. I can't think of anything that I would want to see that had a million things anymore.
Taylor Swift concert?
I watched all of the Taylor Swift concerts from the beginning to the end, so yes.
Yeah.
I mostly, I mean, I looked at different, to be honest, if we want to just talk about community building and Taylor Swift online, I started out the beginning watching one thing, and then as it went on, it was like Taylor kind of, she was great, but we all knew she was sad because her relationship was ending. Then totally obsessed with Travis, like to the point of like I would just tune in to see like did he go? What's he going? Now I give them their privacy. I feel like people should just get out of their business now, but
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the engagement.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe this Christmas, maybe New
Maybe
Year's.
it'll happen in Vancouver at the Vancouver show.
Christmas is her favorite. If he knows what's what, and he does, it'll be Christmas.
Oh my
She
god, I
loves
can't wait.
Christmas. He needs to take her to a Christmas tree farm and propose.
Or Christmas market.
No, but she loves Christmas tree farms.
Oh, does she? See, you seem to know more about Taylor than I do.
Her family had owned a Christmas tree farm when she was growing up, and she's got
You
a song called "The Christmas." It's about that.
you love Taylor.
I do love Taylor. I do love Taylor. I've been a fan for a long time. But anyway, yeah, I mean that would be like her ultimate little. If he could have snow falling gently,
And he
he
can. He's Travis. He
he
can.
could do it like Hollywood, make the snow come. Anyway, yeah, but we'll be
Love it.
back here. So, what are your go-to tools or platforms for managing or engaging an online community? Do you like to do them right on Instagram
Yeah,
or?
I would say, like, in the platforms, I would say, like, a lot of people will ask me, like, should I be on every platform? Should I be on LinkedIn? Should I be on
Mhm.
TikTok? Should I be? And I'm always like, just be on the platforms where you like to be on them and like you want to
Why are
engage.
we twins, Christina? That's my favorite thing too. I feel like you liking the platform matters so
Totally.
much.
I hate TikTok. I hate
Yeah.
it. And so I don't engage. But I love LinkedIn. I love Instagram. And so that's where I love to build community. So
Yeah.
you find the places that you like to build community and really being consistent there and keeping those conversations up.
Hmm.
That's kind of the main tool. I like some scheduling tools too, like, that makes
Yeah.
it a little easier, like later. But I'm not, yeah, like I would
Shout
say
out to Canada later.
later. Yeah. Yeah.
And Hootsuite
Um,
too, by the way.
Hootsuite's in Canada too?
Yeah, Vancouver.
No way.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, okay. I need a list from you of like all the Canadian things.
Why do I know
Um,
so many things? And I met Justin Bieber. I saw it. I was in the elevator with Justin Bieber. If you want my like main Canadian thing.
and did you say anything?
No, I was nice because there was other people on the elevator, and I didn't want to blow his like. I looked at him, and he knew I knew, and I was just kind of like, he just smiled at me. He was just like at a gym working out, so I didn't want to. It was at a hotel in Beverly Hills. How bougie was that?
I know. I ran into Kristen Bell in LA a few weeks ago. And she was having lunch with Rachel Bilson.
Yeah,
And like 17-year-old me would have been like, holy crap, Veronica Mars.
yeah,
But I was cool, calm, and collected and said nothing. And my husband was like, you should have gotten a photo. And I was like, she's a normal woman.
yeah,
She's a normal woman who likes to work.
yeah,
Let her be.
yeah. Are you watching? Did you watch her new show that's
I
out?
just finished it yesterday
Oh
because
God, it's so
I was
good.
waiting for so long because I was so like as a young adult I was obsessed with Veronica Mars. So
Hmm.
I was like, did you love Veronica Mars too?
I actually did not watch that, but I do love Chris. I know.
You have to watch it. It's so good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you must. Um, so the Veronica Mars Seth Cohen thing was a little too much for me. So I was like,
Yeah.
I need to like work myself up to it. And so me and my husband watched it last week, and I'm hooked.
Yeah,
Can't wait
if
for
you
the next
guys
season.
haven't watched it, it's so good.
Nobody wants this. You guys have to watch it. Let us know what you think.
And it's about podcasts, so it's hysterical.
Yeah.
And did you check out the Real Sisters? That's based on Real Sister podcast.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you will not believe this, but they are even prettier than the stars of the show. They are really pretty. Not that Kristen Bell and the girl that plays her sister, they are beautiful, but even the real life girls are beautiful. You got to look it up. Those are
Okay, I
real
will.
sisters.
Nuts.
It doesn't that blow your mind?
Nuts. Yeah. I'm like, how
It's
can you get
based
hotter
on
than
a real
Kristen Bell?
podcast.
There's no hotter than Kristen Bell. But you know what? It was interesting too, because I think the mainstream aspect of it being like, her hosting a podcast and not being the thing. It shows you how much jobs have changed.
Oh, totally,
Mhm.
totally. In an increasing digital world, how can businesses create a personal touch that keeps their community members coming back?
Yeah, I think every chance you get to engage with your customers is a good one, right? So
Yeah,
like whether that be in your Instagram stories, whether that be in the DMs, whatever that looks like. I love getting voice notes from businesses or little cards. That means the world to me. And even for us, like too, like when people join our membership, I'll typically voice note them and say like, "Hey, like so excited to get to know you,"
yeah,
and that goes a long way, right? So I think building those relationships and that trust is anything personal you can do with people. I would take it, and even when the big brands do that, it's so
yeah.
impressive.
It really is, especially now. The personal touches do just matter. A little
Yeah,
note, something. Yep. Because people
absolutely.
choosing you is important. That
Totally, there's lots of
people
options
have
out
a
there.
lot of choices in the
Yeah,
world now. How to spend? It's easy to spend your money.
absolutely, yeah, so that's what I would recommend is as much as you can have, like, touch points with clients
Hmm.
or customers or however you serve people, I think that's the way to do it.
Hmm. Do you do your membership like in Circle or anything?
It is a Facebook group,
Okay.
it's about social media, so that's kinda how we did it, but,
Yeah.
I do like Circle, though.
Yeah.
Circle
Circle. I like
is a
Circle
good
too.
platform. Yeah.
Yeah. How does building a strong community contribute to long-term business growth and brand loyalty?
Yeah, the thing about building a strong community, especially as a personal brand, I would say, because a lot of people are, like, really hide behind their businesses and their brands.
Hmm.
I would say like you're not only building your business for today, you're building it for tomorrow and whatever you do next. Like the first few social media clients we had for our business, we actually got from a previous business we did.
Hmm.
So like really thinking about all of these as long-term relationships is so important. So when you're serving people, it's not just you're serving them like right now for tomorrow, it's you're actually serving them for maybe life, right? And whatever
Right.
it is that you do next. We love doing business with people we like, right? So when we
Hmm.
like it's like Sarah Blakely, right? Like has Spanx, does so well Spanx, then she puts out these shoes, and people are obsessed with buying these shoes, right? Because
Hmm.
it's Sarah.
Yeah.
Like I don't actually think sneakers on a heel is like, in my opinion, they're not that cute. It's just my opinion. Sarah, don't come for me. I think you're amazing. But, like, they're not super cute, and so but I think people buy them because it's Sarah. So
Yeah.
it's like, I think how can you create that same level of hype?
Yeah.
Do you have a pair of sneaks?
No,
No.
I'm really kind of over the heels life. I
Yeah, me too.
did I wore them because I work at home, and so I never wear them anymore. So I had a trade show last month, or was it the beginning of this month? I don't even know where I am anymore. I think it was the beginning of this month, and I did heels, like comfortable ones. But then at a trade show at a huge convention center, no matter what, you were doing like so much walking, and my
Yeah.
feet were just, they were like, "Why? Like, why did you do that?" And they were comfortable ones, and but by the end, they were not comfortable. My feet for like 2 days were like, "You can't wear those again,
Yeah.
not
No more.
anytime soon." So, yeah. But I used to wear like 3 inch heels and run around work, and no problem. My 20s, I was all like heels, and then I would go dance all night and dance all weekend, and go back to work and wear heels all day. And I was like, I don't even know how I did it. I really wore like super high heels all the time. So I think that's part of the reason I can't now.
Also, we are different women. I never had that phase. I don't know,
Oh,
maybe
I
that phase
did.
is coming for me. But yeah, it's never been my thing.
I don't regret it. It was fun. 20 to 25, that was some good dancing time.
Love it.
So for those feeling overwhelmed by the idea of starting or managing a community, what's one piece of advice that you would give them so they don't feel overwhelmed?
Focus on the one-on-one interactions and, like,
Mhm.
don't overthink it. Like, I don't over like, we run events for 150 people. We have a wonderful community of people who buy tickets all the time. I don't overthink it. It's all one-on-one relationships and connections and,
Yep.
voice notes and things like that. But yeah, like, really just remember, like, you're just trying to, like, often business owners, the reason we get into business is because we believe that whatever we're doing is of service.
Mhm.
And so just, like, really leaning into that, like, what you're doing is of service to people and you're making a difference in that way.
Yeah, connecting with people, it does make such a big difference. When I'm on Blue Sky now, and I was like, found there's all these people from Google Plus that are on there, because I
Mm.
when Google Plus was around, that was like very big. I was very big on Google Plus, and so I like kept
The
seeing all
Taylor
these
Swift
people.
of Google Plus.
I had 1.5 million followers. Not lying, it was big. It was a very big
Yeah,
platform
you
for
are the
me.
Taylor Swift of Google Plus. I just stated
I
fact.
wish. I wish. But I did really connect with people. That was my main thing. I always respond to people in comments
Yep.
everywhere. But for there, I really built like a live thing. And I made a comment. I did a post that was like, I am seeing so many great Google Plus friends here, and it's making me happy. And someone commented and said, "How do you know that you're seeing people from Google Plus?" And I was like, "Because I remember them."
Yeah.
I mean, even though, but that's
'Cause I have
why.
eyes.
Right. I know their names. I know who they are. I
Yeah,
remember the people I talk to. I mean, some of them are close friends even now. Like some of my closest people are people I met on Google Plus. But I mean, obviously, I know them. You know what I mean?
I
And
see the
people,
same thing with my events. I say the same thing with my events. Like, people will, like, come up to me and they'll introduce themselves, and I'm like, "Yeah, you came to the last 3. I know everything about you. I remember
yeah,
everything." Like,
like,
yeah.
hello, I do remember. People are like, you probably don't know me, but yes, I do. You comment on all my stuff. Of course I do. You're like, thank
Yeah.
you. Right? I mean, but you have to pay attention.
Yep.
It's just, you got to pay attention, and you just know people because you see them. So
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, on one hand, it was kind of like, why is she asking that? But then I just answered it nicely, like, because I remember who they are.
Fair. Yeah, I love that.
Um, yeah, but also it's kind of like, why wouldn't you know who the people that you talk to? I mean, it was years ago. It's been closed for a long time, but still, I talk to them a lot. So I used to do live streams like Google Hangouts and, all kinds of stuff on there. So you do connect with people.
Yep.
So what's the biggest myth about online communities that you would love to debunk?
That they need to be big.
Mm.
Like, that you need to have 1.5 million followers or whatever it is, that has to be to see impact. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get really, really, worked up about that, and they really wanna build, like, really big, like, communities, which is great. Like, I
Mm.
encourage people to build whatever community feels good for them, but, you can make impact with 100 followers. If you had 100
Yeah.
people in the room, what would that look like, you know?
I know when you look at those numbers in real terms, like how many people that is, it is a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think numbers are a big myth. People really definitely do get tied into that and hooked into that, and they think, I need so many people and so many. It's not about numbers.
No.
It's about connection and community,
Mhm.
which
And
really
I've
is.
seen I've seen people with massive audiences make people feel at home. Like,
Mhm.
where they go to an event and there's huge connection there. And I've seen people with, meet people over and over and over again, not remember their name.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I can't say that I'm in here, but yep. And I've had those. I'm sure you've probably had the same thing where you go to an event and you meet someone and they're not at all like you thought they were, and then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah. Totally.
And then you're not. Then you're just that disconnects you mentally from
Yeah,
that
you're
person.
disenfranchised by it. Like I
Yeah,
know somebody who I idolized. I thought was so cool. I met them in person. Our businesses actually aren't that different, and I met them, and I was like, oh, perfect. Like, and then now I
yeah.
know, right? And then
Mhm.
there have been so many opportunities since for us to collaborate or do things, and I've never taken it up because it just hasn't been a fit. I
Yeah,
love doing business with people I like. I like doing business
right.
with people who are gracious, and that's like
Yeah,
very
and when you
important to
know
me.
they're only doing that, they're not at all who they are online. It's just
Yeah,
all fake. It's like, forget it.
100%.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time. This was a totally amazing conversation. I hope you guys that are listening have loved everything that Christina said, and I hope you follow her and find her, follow her podcast, subscribe to it. It still says follow, right? Didn't subscribe change to follow? Is that the thing everywhere? Or
I think on Apple it might still say subscribe,
I thought
follow.
they were the ones that changed to follow.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I
do
can't
hit
keep
the
track.
button so you get Christina's
Yeah.
podcast, whatever that is on whatever platform it is. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you sharing your expertise in the community area, and I wish you all the best luck in 2025 and beyond.
Yay. So happy to be here. Thank you so much. And any friend of Peg is a friend of mine. So feel free to reach out and let me know what resonated.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to close us.